Rosalind Giles here live on the scene. Thank you so much for joining us. This is a very fluid situation that's been going on all afternoon since about 2 o'clock this afternoon here on Hilton Avenue in the 3300 block. I'm going to step out of the way so that you can see what's going on. What appears to be a stand down. There are officers now who are driving these cars that have been on standby here on this street for hours now, for 5 hours. We're going to take it over now with our team coverage, continuing with Georgia Elise.
Rosalind, I'm here on Hilton Avenue on the end of Lookout Drive, where the road is still closed. Officers are still rerouting traffic. So if you were planning to come this way, you're asked to please find an alternative route.
If the officer was shot and you didn't find a weapon, are you still looking for that weapon?
We are still looking for the weapon.
Do you think he tossed it?
Don't know.
You know what caliber it may have been?
Don't know.
So, Chief, just to clarify, you said you're not sure that there was a second suspect. You believe there's one, so you're going to kind of be...
We're just doing a secondary search of the residence to make sure that we have not overlooked anybody that could still be in that residence before we turn the resident back over to the family.
And we just learned a great deal of information on this incident from Chief Ricky Borden of the Columbus Police Department, telling us that the family who lives at this home at the 3300 block of Hilton Avenue returned home around 2 o'clock today to find their back door open and a moped sitting there. They then backed back and called authorities.
Coverage you can count on. This is a Storm Team 9 special. Severe weather and your safety.
So the big question is, once you get the warning, what do? The place you choose to go could mean the difference between life and death in a tornado. Here's a closer look at what is safe and what is not. Once the tornado warning comes out, you might have up to 15 minutes to find a place of safety. Now, if you live in a house that has more than 2 floors, you're going to want to get downstairs. That's the safest place for you to be. You can see it, snap it, and send it. That's also a link right here on the WTVM weather app, right on that home screen.
In addition to having the app set correctly, you should also prepare a severe weather safety kit with the necessities you may need during an emergency.
The new WTVM Mobile Alert Center, powered by Headquarter Nissan. Now, it's the only vehicle of its kind here in the valley, designed to keep you ahead of the storm with the latest technology. On the roof, we have weather tools to take readings as we chase storms across the area. Inside and outside cameras will keep you connected with us as we broadcast live during severe weather.
Good evening. Thanks for joining us. I'm Rosalind Giles.
And I'm Jason Dennis. Hurricane Hermine closing in on making a landfall in Florida late tonight. Expected to be the first hurricane in 11 years to crash right into the Sunshine State.
News Leader 9's Elizabeth White joins us live outside or near that motel there in West Point, where cops have the building surrounded. So, Liz, I know you were moved back from the motel. What have you learned tonight?
Well, what we know right now is Boyette and Rice are believed to be inside that hotel room, surrounded by multiple law enforcement agencies, heavily armed. We do understand the U.S. Marshals, they are on scene right now. We've seen several cars pass by as well, including a K-9 team.
News Leader 9's Jose Zozaya joins us now live from 22nd Avenue in Phoenix City, right across from that scene where all this standoff happened. Jose, how did police get the upper hand on this fugitive?
Jason, this all happened when a U.S. Marshal working with Phoenix City Police got a tip, and that tip led those police investigators here to believe that David Lee Hicks, the suspect in question, was trying to stay under the radar right behind me at Central Highlands apartment homes.
At least 4 tornadoes touching down in the Gulf Coast area. Some injuries have been reported, but authorities have yet to confirm now how many. Fortunately, those storms, which are moving out of our area now, didn't pack quite the punch as it did in the Gulf Coast, as we take a live look now at our current conditions and the live drive in Columbus.
And let's turn things over now to Chief Meteorologist Derek Kincaid. And Derek, I know you said we were kind of on the fringe of these storms now, so when do we expect things to clear up? And we have an update on that breaking news where that couple was holed up in West Point, believed to be connected to triple murders across the South. We have an update now going on with the man and woman involved in that.
We believe that Boyette has been killed in that standoff, and Sergeant Stuart Smith from Troup County Sheriff's Department speaking right now. Let's listen in.
What kind of relief are you feeling at this point in time, knowing that it's over and none of your law enforcement officers were injured in this?
Well, I mean, it's just a great relief that, this didn't drag on longer and longer, because the longer it does,
the more lives that could be at risk.
And good evening. Thanks so much for joining us on the Valley's #1 news station. Topping our news tonight, we're learning new details following the heat-related death of a resident at the Ralston Towers in Uptown Columbus. City officials, the community, and owners of the building are responding today after 62-year-old Charles Hart died yesterday afternoon. The Muskogee County Chief Deputy Coroner says Hart's death was a health-related issue that was triggered by heat. Hart's room temperature reaching 98 degrees and above. Some residents say they have been without air conditioning for days. And we have team coverage tonight like you'll see only on News Leader 9 of what some are calling extreme living conditions at the Ralston. We check in with Chandler Morgan and Sharifa Jackson in just a moment. But first, News Leader 9's Parker Brenton has been speaking with city officials all afternoon on their plan of action to fix the air in the towers. And Parker, so what are officials saying about the problems there and what's ahead to fix them all?
Barbara, we are learning today that the Ralston Towers, they've got until Monday morning at 9 a.m. to get the air back up and running, where city officials tell me that they're going to come in and potentially have to lock these doors, leaving people without a place to stay. And
we continue our live team coverage now with News Leader 9's Sharifa Jackson, who has been speaking to members of the community. And Sharifa, I know the story has really touched a chord and a lot of people. So how are folks coming together to help?
Barbara, people have been coming from all over the valley lending a helping hand.
There had been no reports of air conditioning issues in that unit by the tenant. Again, this is a statement from the Ralston. You can find that full statement along with the latest developments of this story on our website, WTVM.com. Just look for the story under the local tab. Of course, we'll continue to follow developments in this story throughout the weekend.